Good day all of you. Today we are discussing about necessity of OS. OS is an interface between user and hardware. This is the very easiest definition of operating system. So, first of all, what we want to know is the OS really required? Is OS is really required? So, we have discussed it by using an example 1. There is example. There is a code a equals to 5, b equals to 6, c equals to a plus b, print c. There is an assembly language according to this. So our question is it possible to run this program without operating system? Does the OS really require to execute this program? For this program to execute, main memory, CPU are required, which are present. It means available. Therefore, there is no role of operating system. Operating system is not required for the execution of any program because ultimately the program consists of machine language instructions. Now the question arises, then why OS is used? To remove out or ease some difficulties, OS is used. Suppose, see this example, a equals to 5, b equals to 6, c equals to a plus b, and print c. For a equals to 5, move 5 to register A, move 6 to register B, add a plus b. But for print C is not a machine level instruction. For example, in C programming, printf is not a machine level machine language instruction. It's a library function of C. To print the value, you need the input output device. For this, you need to write some instructions. Input output devices cannot operate directly, so device drivers are required. A device driver is an input output program which controls an input output device or which controls the activity of an input output device. Device driver is a part of operating system only. Device driver is a software, so it's also a set of instructions. Before using any input output device, there are some activities to be done. For example, printer. To check printer is on, if on, able to print data, send data to the buffer of printer, add, then data is printed. To store data on hard disk, every time the address of hard disk have to be specified. To read data again, the track and sector number must be given. Input output device understands only the language of electrical signals. So basically, input output device are operated via signals. CPU can understand your instructions, but input output device cannot understand your instructions. They understands only signals. As a user, will I be able to generate the signals and send? This is the question what arises after device driver. As a user, will I be able to generate the signals and send? So the answer is no. So to operate the input output device, I require something else, because directly I cannot generate signals. So there's a hardware called device controller meant for controlling an input output device. For every device there will be a device controller. User gives instruction to device controller and device controller converts it into signals for input-output device. DC generates signals to move the head on tracks and sectors. DC can generate only signals and nothing else. User can talk to DC through commands. User sends the commands to DC to check whether the printer is working or not. After that, DC sends the signals to printer to check printer, then sends a response to DC telling that it's working. Then DC responds to user about that the printer is on. There is a commands for DC, check whether the printer is on or not, initialize the head, accept the character, print character. Every DC has its own set of instruction. If you send an instruction to DC out of its available set of instructions, then only it can understand. DC is nothing but a microprocessor. CPU is also a microprocessor. First, I should study the instruction set of a device controller. Instruction set for a monitor would be different. Instruction set for a printer would be different because these are different devices. For a new device, you need to install device driver in your system and then physically put the device controller. It's a hardware. I can execute the program without operating system, but then it's difficult since I have know all the above details of a device controller. But as a user, executing a program should be simple. Somebody else should do all these difficult tasks. That somebody else is OS. OS will write a device driver for you. Thus, OS simplifies your difficulty arising during execution of a program without operating. For example, this is an example. If suppose user wrote a program p1.c and required to store this program on hard disk so that he can access the same program tomorrow also. Now the user needs to do following for saving the program on hard disk. First is space is available or not. Find out the free space available. Where is it available? Track number, sector number. Store the data on track number this and sector number this. Now suppose next day user wants to retrieve the stored data from hard disk. But how? Again same, go to track number, sector number and read. But I have to remember the track number and sector number by suppose writing on a paper. But if there are thousands of programs, I have to manage all the information regarding track number and sector number of all the thousands program. And also if another user wrote a program and want to store, how will he know that which track number, sector number is free? He may store the program on the same track number, sector number as previous. Now the first user program is overwritten. So management is to be done by the user itself. Thus it become move words in multi-user environment. So for the management of resources, OS is required. Thus the primary purpose of OS is to provide user convenience. And the secondary purpose is to manage all the resources of the computer system. Now we are talking about one of the most important module of an operating system, that is file system management module, which we will be discussed in the next video.